So you are at the last stage of forensic accounting, the very last stage. Kama tulikuwa tumemaliza hiyo stage ya mwisho. Is court proceedings. Court proceedings. Clinic something on that point. Yes. Court proceedings. Or court proceedings. Okay, so let's continue with the after court proceedings and dig up a point to note, point to note, point to note, point to note. A forensic investigation is therefore a forensic investigation is therefore a forensic investigation is therefore a specialized type of engagement, a specialized type of engagement, a specialized type of engagement, which requires highly skilled team members, highly skilled team members who have experience not only of accounting and auditing techniques, but also of the relevant legal framework, And let's go to application of forensic audit. Application of forensic audit. Application of forensic audit. Application of forensic audit. So one, terrorist financing. Terrorist financing. Investigation. Terrorist financing investigation. Next, number two, solving partnership disputes. Solving partnership disputes. Solving partnership disputes. Number three, matrimonial disputes. Matrimonial disputes. Matrimonial disputes. Next, corruption. Next point, asset misappropriation. Asset misappropriation. Next, financial statement fraud. Financial statement fraud. Let's go to now the specific audit procedures for fraud investigation. Specific audit procedures for fraud investigation. Specific audit procedures for fraud investigation. Specific audit procedures for the fraud investigation. So number one. So what can you do? Number one, develop a profile of the entity. Develop a profile of the entity. Develop a profile of the entity under investigation. Under investigation. Under investigation, yes, develop a profile of the entity under investigation, including its personnel, including its personnel, including its personnel. Number 2, identify weaknesses, identify weaknesses, identify weaknesses in the internal control procedures, in the internal control procedures, and basic record keeping, and basic record keeping, and basic record keeping, and basic record keeping, e.g., bank reconciliations not performed, bank reconciliations not performed, bank reconciliations not performed. Next point, perform trend analysis, perform trend analysis, perform trend analysis, and analytical procedures, and analytical procedures, and analytical procedures to identify significant transactions, and variation from the norm, and variation from the norm, and variation from the norm. Number 4, identify changes in patterns, identify changes in patterns, identify changes in patterns of purchases, or sales, particularly where a limited number of suppliers, or customers are involved, or customers are involved. Next, identify significant variation, in consumption of raw materials, and consumables, particularly where consumption appears excessive, Next, identify unusual accounts, and account balances, e.g. closing credit balances, credit closing balances on debit accounts, and vice versa. On debit accounts and vice versa. Your number 6. Number 7, review accounting records. review accounting records for unusual transactions, for unusual transactions and entries, e.g. large number of accounting entries, e.g. large number of accounting entries, e.g. large number of accounting entries between accounts, transaction not executed, between accounts, transaction not executed, transactions not executed at normal commercial rates, at normal commercial rates. Next, review transaction documentation, e.g. invoices, for discrepancy and inconsistencies, Next point, once identified, trace the individual responsible for fraudulent transactions, Next, obtain information regarding all responsibilities of the individual involved. Next, inspect and review all other transactions. Inspect and review all other transactions of similar nature conducted by the individual. The last one, consider all other aspects of the business. Which the individual is involved with, and perform further analytical procedures, targeting those areas to identify any additional discrepancies. Yes. Swandika for his subtopic, regulation and standards on forensic accounting. Regulation and standards on forensic accounting. Regulation and standards on forensic accounting. Yes, regulation and standards on forensic accounting. Yes, just forensic accounting. Then you write the following. Forensic accounting investigation. Forensic accounting investigation. Forensic accounting investigation may arise where there is requirement, of some specific laws and regulation which may provide both the mandate and the process. The objective is to ensure number one, the engagement is undertaken. Number one, the engagement is undertaken as per the laws and regulations requirement. The engagement is undertaken as per the laws and regulation requirement. As per the laws and regulation requirement. Number two, work procedures are executed. Work procedures are executed. Work procedures are executed as per the prevailing laws and regulation. As per the prevailing laws and regulation. As per the prevailing laws and regulation. Next, there is an approach to identify. There is an approach to identify and report the violation of laws and regulation. The violation of laws and regulation. The violation of laws and regulation. Let's go to the basic principles of forensic accounting. Basic principles of forensic accounting. Basic principles of forensic accounting. So number one is independence. Number one, independence. Independence. Number two, integrity and objectivity. Integrity and objectivity. Integrity and objectivity. Next, confidentiality. 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 Next, skills and competence. Skills and competence. Next, contextualization of situation. Contextualization of a situation, i.e., where the transaction or operation take place, where the transaction or operation takes place, where the transaction or operation takes place. It is important to understand the complete picture. It is important to understand the complete picture. The complete picture. The next, primacy of truth. Primacy of truth. Primacy of truth, i.e., finding the truth and revealing the reality. Finding the truth and revealing the reality behind allegation. Behind allegation. Behind allegation. Next, respecting rights and obligations. Respecting rights and obligation. Respecting rights and obligation. Next, separating facts from opinions. Separating facts from opinions. E.g., a conclusion should be based on facts. A conclusion should be based on facts. A conclusion should be based on facts. The next, quality and continuous improvement. Quality and continuous improvement. Quality and continuous improvement. There should be quality controls. There should be quality controls. There should be quality controls to ensure reliance of the work performed. To ensure reliance on the work performed. To ensure reliance on the work performed. Okay, paragraph andika that forensic accounting and investigation standards. 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 FAIS. Forensic accounting and investigation standards, FIS. Facilitate the understanding of the scope and authority of the pronouncements. Scopes and authority of the pronouncements of any form of fraud. Of any form of fraud to be investigated. Of any form of fraud to be investigated. So that's what you can cover under the forensic accounting. So let's turn to the first paper. We'll look at some questions. So the first question is August 2022. August 2022. Question number 3A. August 2022. Question number 3A. August 2022. Question number 3A. August 2022, question number 3A. So this question raised like this. And Lisa Care is a financial controller of a leading church organization in the country. Recently, the chief cashier in the church was suspended for misappropriating cash amounting to 2 million shillings over a period of 6 months. The church board of deacons and the finance committee are of the view that though Annalisa Care was not directly responsible for the loss, she failed by not discovering the fraud in time. They have recommended her suspension and possible dismissal. They are also worried that because of the high cash volumes transacted in the church, the risk of errors and fraud in cash management is significant. Annalisa has suggested to the Board of Deacons and Finance Committee to engage an independent auditor to carry out an investigation. Your audit firm has been invited to a preparatory meeting of the Board of Deacons as the potential auditor for the assignment. So required. Highlight the issues you will raise during this meeting regarding the entire investigation process. I think it should require we did that Roman 3. Yes, so highlight the issues you will raise during this meeting regarding the entire. I think you get really fun. It will be fun, yeah. Yes, we did your part matters to be raised here to the final. Yes, here to the final. We did that part. So Roman 2, you are to kufanya. So describe the essential principles that you must observe to conduct an effective investigation. So principles kunaza hapo: independency, objectivity and integrity, confidentiality, professional behavior, professional competence, opinions and truth, etc. So for example, I'm going to identify some 4, then you explain those principles that you need to observe. So that's the next question. Check question for November 2020. November 2020. November 2020, question number 4. 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 Question number 4. November 2020, question number 4. Question number 4. So the question reads like this. Reports documenting a forensic investigation differ considerably from audit opinions. The investigative report is not constrained by the required language of a governing standard. Forensic investigative reports differ from one another in organization and content depending on the client stated needs. November 2020, question 1, Roman 2. Question 1A, Roman 2. November 2020, question 1, Roman 2. November 2020, question 1, Roman 2. So reports indicating a forensic investigation differ considerably from audit opinions. The investigative report is not constrained by the required language of a governing standard. Forensic investigative reports differ from one another in organization and content depending on the client's stated needs. Required. Describe 6 main components of a forensic investigation report. 6 main components of a forensic investigation report. 6 main components of a forensic investigation report. So the report will have the following. The component number 1, component of forensic investigation report, number 1. Number 1, there will be component number 1, title page, title page, title page, title page. Number 2, table of contents, table of contents, table of contents. Number 3, reasons for investigation, reasons for investigation, reasons for investigation. Next, signature page, signature page, signature page. Next, evidence examined, evidence examined, evidence examined. Next, description of investigation, description of investigation, description of investigation. Next, details of findings, details of findings, details of findings, details of findings. So let's go to next question is on November 2018. November 2018. Question number 5B. November 2018. Question number 5B. November 2018. Question number 5B. Describe 3 objectives of forensic investigation. Describe 3 objectives of forensic investigation. Describe 3 objectives of forensic investigation. Yes, November 2018. Question number 3B. Describe 3 objectives of forensic investigation. Yes, that will be mentioned for the process of investigation. Number 2, the planning, the investigation. We are able to identify the objectives of the forensic investigation. Like 1, identifying the type of the fraud. identifying the type of the fraud. Number two, identifying the fraudster. Identifying the fraudster involved. Identifying the fraudster involved. Ingine ilikuwa ni quantifying the financial loss suffered by the client. Quantifying the financial loss suffered by the client. Quantifying the financial loss suffered by the client. The other one, you've got to gather evidence to be used in court proceedings. To gather evidence to be used in court proceedings. To gather evidence to be used in court proceedings. They may be to provide advice to prevent the recurrence of the fraud. To provide advice to prevent the recurrence of the fraud. And then May 2018, question number 1B. May 2018, question number 1B. May 2018, question number 1B. The role of forensic accountant today is gaining momentum, catalyzed by the increasing complexity and sophistication of financial crimes. According to the recent global economic crime and fraud survey published by a leading accountancy firm, 45% of organizations globally reported that they had been big victims of the fraud and economic crimes. So required, with reference to the above statement, describe the role of forensic accountant in criminal investigation. Number two, litigation support. Then number three, insurance claims. So on top, we'll discuss the role of sasa in criminal investigation. Ni kusaidia to get the evidence, to obtain the evidence that prove that the crime actually was committed. That prove that the crime was actually committed. And to quantify the loss suffered. And to quantify the loss suffered as a result of committing the fraud. Then number two, to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. To obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. To obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to support the legal proceedings in a court. To support the legal proceedings in a court. To support the legal proceedings in a court. Then on the insurance claims, to use the accounting skills, knowledge and experience, to use the accounting skills, knowledge and experience, to use the accounting skills, knowledge and experience, to quantify the financial matter, on the insurance claims disputed on the insurance claims disputed. On the insurance claims disputed. Next question is December 2017. December 2017. December 2017. Question number 1A. December 2017. Question number 1A. December 2017. Question number 1A. So the question is like this: distinguish between forensic accounting and forensic audit. Distinguish between forensic accounting and forensic audit. Is that what we did in the morning? The differences between the statutory audit and LAFNA, the forensic audit. So we have those points in our notes there on the differences between forensic accounting and financial accounting and forensic audit. So maybe the question that you can check at your own free time is this question is on May 2017. May 2017 on question number 4A. May 2017, sorry, just May 2017, question 4. May 2017, question 4. May 2017, question 4. There's the last question is on the last question is September 2015. September 2015, question number 1B. September 2015, question number 1B, Roman 3. September 2015, question number 1B, Roman 3. But there's a question up, I think, you may look on, I don't know where it is. There is one more question up. Oh yes, this question appeared on the December 2021. December 2021. Question number 5A. December 2021. Question number 5A. So that now brings us to the end of that topic of forensic accounting. So our next topic, that should be topic 7 or 7. 6, 7. Topic 7. 4.7, audit related assurance services. Audit related assurance services. Audit related assurance services. So this topic kuna areas of focus. Area of focus tutakuwa tuna discuss. Ya kwanza ni prospective, financial information, or financial information, investigation, and due diligence. Next one will be special audit assignments. Special audit assignments. And we shall be focusing on social and environmental audit. Social and environmental audits. The next one, we shall also be looking at audit under computerized systems. Audit under computerized system. Computerized systems. Audit under computerized systems. The next audit of performance. Audit of performance. Information. Audits of performance. Information. Audits of performance. Information. In bracket, predetermined objectives. Predetermined objectives in the public sector. Sector. The next item shall be special aspects of auditing. Special aspects of auditing. Special aspects of auditing in an automated environment. So those are the key subtopic areas that we need to look at in audit-related assurance services. So we shall begin by due diligence. The due diligence investigation. The due diligence investigation. Sasa ukipata client, before you say yes to their work, before you accept the appointment, You must do your own research, your background research about the client. So in that process of doing that background research, you are investigating the client to confirm are they persons with the integrity. You want to be able to know which kind of people have approached you in relation to a particular work. In doing so, you're doing what you call the due diligence investigation. Like in the cases of the money laundering is more fine in money laundering. Money laundering must do what you call the due diligence. Try to check. Are there any suspicious activities of the transaction being undertaken by the client involving the money laundering schemes? So what do you mean by this term due diligence? So a due diligence investigation, a due diligence investigation is a process. A due diligence investigation is a process of obtaining evidence, and assessing information, relating to a particular transaction, in order to identify the risk involved, and to inform the interested party, and to inform the interested party on the opportunities and risk associated with the transaction, This type of investigation is common. This type of investigation is common where a potential investor may require information relating to a company which is being sold in order to make informed decisions regarding the possible investments, Full stop. A due diligence investigation can be performed by different professionals, e.g. lawyers, IT consultants, tax consultants, tax consultants, professional accountants, etc. Professional accountants, etc. Professional accountants, etc. Professional accountants, etc. Now let's go to the nature of work performed by the audit firm. Nature of work performed by the audit firm. Nature of the audit, sorry, nature of the work performed by the auditor firm. Nature of the work performed by the audit firm. During a due diligence investigation, during a due diligence investigation, auditors are required. Auditors are required to agree on the engagement terms, to agree on the engagement terms, to agree on the engagement terms, to agree on the engagement terms with the authority regarding, the scope of work, and the type of assurance report required. 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 The auditor will then perform the following functions. The auditor will then perform the following functions. The auditor then perform the following functions. The auditor then perform the following functions. So 1, make inquiries regarding the target company background. Make inquiries regarding the target company background. Make inquiries regarding the target company background. Number 2, obtain the entities historical financial statements. Obtain the entity historical financial statements. Covering between 3 to 5 years. Covering between 3 to 5 years. Covering between 3 to 5 years. And carry out analytical review. And carry out analytical review by computing accounting ratios. By computing accounting ratios. By computing accounting ratios. By computing accounting ratios and analyzing the entity's profitability trends. And analyzing the entity's profitability trends. Number 3, assess the assets and liabilities carrying amounts. Assess the assets and liabilities carrying amounts. Assess the assets and liabilities carrying amounts or value, and use the appropriate valuation method. And use the appropriate valuation method and use the appropriate valuation method. Therefore, examine any contractual agreements. Examine any contractual agreements. Examine any contractual agreements with external parties. With external parties, which may create some commercial implication. Some commercial implication for the potential investor. Then 5, combine the evidence gathered. Combine the evidence gathered so as to provide the appropriate level of assurance, to the interested party. The appropriate level of assurance to the interested party. So let's take some minutes break. So we can now go to the matters to be considered. Matters to be considered. Matters to be considered before accepting. Before accepting. Before accepting. To take up. To take up a due diligence investigation. A due diligence investigation. A due diligence investigation. So some of these matters, we have repeated them severally. So just mention them, alafu tunaendelea. So one is ethical issues. Ethical issues. Just talking about ethical issues, naangalia kama kuna any matter that can lead to conflict of interest. Any matter that could lead to conflict of interest that may affect your investigation process. Number two, competence of the audit firm. Competence of the auditor firm. Like, do you have the staff? Do they have necessary skills, experience etc. The next, maintenance of confidentiality. Maintenance of confidentiality. Maintenance of confidentiality. Maintenance of confidentiality. Yes, you need to consider whether you can be able to maintain confidentiality. Next, assessment of the scope of work. 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 Inaweza kukusaidia kujua maybe audit fee to charge is how much fee you're going to charge. And next, establishing the purpose. Establishing the purpose. Establishing the purpose of the due diligence investigation. Establishing the purpose of the due diligence investigation. Establishing the purpose of the due diligence investigation. Next, we can go to the importance of due diligence. Importance of due diligence. Importance of due diligence. Importance of due diligence. So one, it can lead to better understanding of the target company. It can lead to better understanding of the target company. It can lead to better understanding of the target company. And next, it leads to the assessment of risk. It leads to the assessment of risk. It leads to the assessment of risk and challenges facing the target company. Facing the target company. And next, it provides credibility and assurance. It provides credibility and assurance information. It provides credibility and assurance information to the interested parties. To the interested parties. And next, it may lead to a wide range of issues. It may lead to a wide range of issues which may be useful to potential investors. Which may be useful to potential investors. Which may be useful to potential investors. Which may be useful to potential investors, e.g. legal matters. E.g. legal matters. E.g. legal matters. E.g. legal matters. Last point. It may result in the assessment. It may result in the assessment. It may result in the assessment. It may result in the assessment of accurate values. Of accurate values. Of accurate values. Of assets and liabilities. Of assets and liabilities. Of assets and liabilities of the company. Of the company. Of the company. Of the company. So let's go to challenges of the due diligence. 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 So one, the cost may be high. 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 Number two, the investigators may lack the required specialized skills. The investigators may lack the required specialized skills. The investigators may lack the required specialized skills. The investigator may lack the required specialized skills. And next, lack of information may also affect. Lack of information may also affect the work of the auditor. Lack of information may also affect the work of the auditor. Lack of information may also affect the work of the auditor. Next, traveling restrictions may be put by government. Traveling restriction may be put by the government. Traveling restrictions may be put by the government in the location of the target company. In the location of the target company. In the location of the target company. Next, there is a possibility of irregularities and fraud. There is a possibility of irregularities and fraud. There is a possibility of irregularities and fraud, etc. There is a possibility of irregularities and fraud, etc. So that's all that you can have on due diligence investigation. Sasa nafaa tuje kwa hiyo kitu inaitwa prospective financial information. Prospective financial information. Prospective financial information. Prospective financial information. So unajua pia nyinyi mmechoka, so let's end there. Then tukipatana Tuesday, we shall begin from that point on prospective financial information. So let's call it we meet on Saturday, sorry, on Tuesday.